From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. A snowstorm of historic proportions pounded the Gulf Coast last week, delivering snow from Texas to the Carolinas. The snow event not only broke records that stood for more than a century, but also flip-flopped some familiar snowy destinations with typically warm cities. With 9 inches of snow, Lafayette, Louisiana is beating Chicago's snowfall so far this year at 8.9 inches. The snow accumulation at Pensacola, New Orleans, and Mobile are beating New York City, Sioux Falls, Des Moines, Albuquerque, Reno, and even Anchorage, Alaska, which has only racked up 3.8 inches so far in meteorological winter. Many weather stations on the central Gulf Coast, including New Orleans, Mobile, and Pensacola, preliminarily set all-time snow records, and all-time state snowfall records were challenged in Louisiana and Florida. AccuWeather's preliminary estimate for total damage and economic loss from the snow, ice, and extreme cold in the South last week is between $14 and $17 billion. A Canadian freighter that became stuck in the ice on Lake Erie last week has finally been freed. The 663-foot Manitoulin, with a crew of 17 on board, left Buffalo on Wednesday morning and was heading to Ontario when it became stuck in ice that was quickly forming on Lake Erie amid sub-zero temperatures offshore Buffalo. The Coast Guard launched the cutter Bristol Bay to break up the ice around the freighter on Thursday, but by evening, the ship moved only slightly. The Manitoulin is capable of breaking ice once it reaches speed. The Coast Guard said it needed to break through enough ice surrounding the vessel to allow it to reach its own ice-breaking speed. Paul Angelillo, a search and rescue specialist with the Coast Guard, said that it's not uncommon for this to happen when there is significant ice development. It's just the characteristics of ice, how cold it gets, how quick it freezes, the integrity of the ice. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. It took a couple of days, but the Manitoulin was finally freed on Saturday. The ship was not damaged and its crew was safe. It then resumed its journey across the rest of Lake Erie and then up the Detroit and St. Clair rivers to Sarnia, Ontario, where it will spend the rest of the winter. That's all for now. You can find more stories and regional forecasts at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.